You are quite in time for your favorite show, a show that has been growing in leaps and bounds thanks to your support and participation. And this is to let you know that we may not travel to some of the places you may want us to visit due to travel restrictions. But we've been trying and sometimes applying technology. Today, it's another African special, and this is what we've lined up for you. Frankline Omondi, a Kenyan aviation expert in Dakar, is taking Africa's civil aviation industry to greater heights.
We need to liberalize our airspace like yesterday.
In Arusha, meet the Ugandan teacher who owns and runs an international school away from home. And on My Magical Kenya, my experience at Sarova Lion Hill Game Lodge in Lake Nakuru National Park. Great, we are ready to roll, and Michael Zimanji kicks off the show with the following feature about a Kenyan aviation expert who is based in Dakar, Senegal, Frankline Omondi.
Frankline Omondi is a simple man with a very important job. He is one of the people responsible for ensuring civil aviation in the entire African continent is carried out in a safe, secure, sustainable, and environmentally friendly manner.
It involves interacting with different states, different stakeholders, different functions within civil aviation.
Yes, Omondi is an environmental and aviation expert working for the African Civil Aviation Commission, a specialized agency of the African Union that is headquartered in Dakar, Senegal. But what exactly is his role?
At AFCAC, I'm given a responsibility to coordinate the Continental Air Transport Liberalization Project. It's an African Union flagship project. It's called the Single African Air Transport Market. And AFCAC is the executing agency of the YD, or the Yamoussoukro decision, and the SATAM. Basically, it is to liberalize air transport in the African continent.
Before we delve deeper into Omondi's story, let's walk down memory lane and learn how he ended up in the aviation industry to begin with. Omondi was born and raised in Kisumu County. He attended Menengai High School before proceeding to Jomo Kenyatta Institute of Agriculture and Technology for a degree in environmental studies. From there, Omondi worked in various organizations including Watersan and Kritha before eventually landing at Kenya Airways as an environmental expert and fuel data analyst.
Besides the fact that I was an environment expert, I was also involved with occupational health and safety issues. That is the safety of people and the safety of KQ equipment at the workplace.
This gave Omondi, who at the time didn't have any prior knowledge in aviation, a leg to stand on.
I must say, I think KQ provided me with a platform. A platform in the sense that it exposed me internationally. KQ allowed me to interact with the Airports Authority, for example, who are responsible for managing the airport. KQ allowed me to interact quite a lot with the Civil Aviation Authority, that is the KCA, and many other government ministries.
So, with this expertise in hand, in 2018, Omondi made the decision to relocate to Dakar in pursuit of greener pastures. But the change wasn't quite as smooth.
I believe most Kenyans who come here for the first time, it's the language. I mean, this is a French-speaking country. Very rare times will you find someone who is able to speak English. And when they speak English, it's not your ordinary good English that we speak back home.
Despite this, Omondi was able to weather the challenges, and in no time he had completely assimilated to the culture. Back to his job, and in just 2 years, Omondi has been able to achieve important milestones in his field.
Mostly they are airline related, But currently it is more of how policies are made in civil aviation, how economic decisions affect air transport, and again, the whole issue of air transport liberalization.
But even with these wins, Omondi still believes there is more to be done.
A liberalized African airspace or the air transport would be very beneficial to the African continent more than when we operate in a fragmented kind of a setup. That is what I personally believe. And the reason I say this is because the benefits that liberalization presents to the different stakeholders, for example, the airlines and, so to speak, the air navigation service providers, the benefits that liberalization presents to them is much more than what they stand to gain when they operate in a fragmented, sort of unliberalized kind of an environment.
Looking back, the son of Kisumu is definitely grateful for his success here in Dakar, a fact that he attributes to the character of the residents.
Senegalese are naturally, they are so warm and they are open people, and they are welcoming.
As we wind up, what vital lesson has Omondi learned from his daring abroad experience?
Being here for the last 2 years now has changed the way I appreciate people's cultures.
This is what daring abroad is all about. Back to you, Alex.
That's an eye-opener, and it shows you can apply your skills anywhere in the world. It just depends on your passion. Let's now move to our next segment, Kenya to the world. And sometime back, we brought you this story of Kenyans exporting traditional vegetables. Managu, saga, kunde, name them. And this is through a company known as Mess Foods that is based in Eldoret. Now, it generated a lot of feedback from across the world, and we've decided to repeat it, and Michael Simanji is next with that story.
Our story begins here in Aldai location, Nandi County, some 320 kilometers from Kenya's capital, Nairobi. Rose is on her way to the farm. She's been farming for most of her life.
Hapo awali ilikuwa ngumu, hazikuwa sinatembea. Unaweza kuta unapanda na market inakuwa shida. But wakati huu imekuwa mzuri sababu tumekuwa na wale wanakuja kutununulia kwa shamba, unauza na pesa inakuwa.
These people that Rose is talking about are none other than Mess Foods, a private company that specializes in production of spices and ethnic foods for export.
This is what I have to dress up in.
Based in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County, the company has been in operation for about 16 years now.
The whole idea behind the business was born in Germany during a trade fair that I attended in 2001. And while there, I visited the Kenyan stand, and I discovered that there were so many opportunities for Kenyan products. Our main variety is dried African bird's eye chili, and then we have long cayenne chili, we have red demon, we have fresno, and we have bullet. Secondly, we also are seed merchants certified by KEFIS. That means we propagate, we produce, and we process our own seed. This is to ensure that we have consistency of the final product. And then we have saga, which is called spider plant. We have dodo, the common amaranth or michicha or chepkerta in where I come from. And then we have kunde, which is the cowpea leaves, and we have sukuma wiki.
Once the product is received here, we do a quality inspection just to ensure that the product has met all the quality parameters put in place. Then after that, if it is for the vegetables, it undergoes the plucking, just resorting to ensure that the plucking was done well at the farm level. After that, it's washed, blanched, sun-dried, and then packaged.
80% of our produce goes to pharmaceutical industry. There are 3 major extracts that are obtained from the products. That is oleoresins, which is both a pharmaceutical product and a food additive. Then we have the capsaicinoids, which can be used for medicine. And then they also produce the pigment. The pigment is used both for food coloring, and it is now very popular for cosmetics, for lipstick. And I received a lot of assistance from the associations and government bodies that regulate this industry. Export Promotion Council then is now rebranded. It's called Kenya Export and Brand Kenya. We are exporting to the US, to the Middle East, to Europe, to Australia. Our products are not perishable. They are dehydrated. That means they have a shelf life ranging from 2 years up to maximum 3 years, depending on the product. That means the easiest and most convenient form of movement of the product is by sea. For express parcels, we use courier, and we also use the postal services. That's by air.
We are very proud. Saizi, kama tunaweza panda mboka hapa Kenya na tupate pesa kutoka ng'ambo, hiyo ndio mzuri, sababu mboka yetu iko na manufaa sana.
And it's really fulfilling to see happy farmers selling their products to us and seeing their lives changing and transforming as we move along.
And before I called it a day, I had the opportunity to taste this Kenyan ingenuity.
Very tasty.
Awesome.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. From farm to freight to plate. And that's from Kenya to the world.
Great, from farm to plate. And it's encouraging to see Kenyan traditional vegetables sailing beyond the borders. We now take a short break. Still ahead.
I do train students for foreign exams in Tanzania.
Welcome back. We are now moving into the second feature of our show, and it's about a Ugandan teacher who has defied the odds to establish a unique international school in Arusha. A very daring move. Take a look.
9 a.m. Monday morning. Students at Arusha International Open School settle in for their first lesson of the day. And this is their teacher, Mr. Alfred Moses Maine.
I am eating bananas.
Moses, who is an English language and literature teacher, has been working here in Tanzania for close to 20 years, but is originally from the Pearl of Africa, Uganda.
I'm actually from Mbale. Mbale district in Mbale, in Uganda, the eastern part of Uganda, in a place to call it a sub-county, called Bumasche sub-county. It was formerly Busiu, but it's now Bumasche sub-county.
So how exactly did the Ugandan end up teaching literature in Tanzania?
I was invited by my auntie who got married here some time back. Gave me the encouragement, because the kind of job pressure in Uganda was a bit too much. That was the time they had put that ceiling on government employment and so on and kind of stuff.
After working for a couple of years at various international schools, Moses felt it was time to start his own. That is how Arusha International Open School was born.
I do train students for foreign exams in Tanzania, as well as, of course, national exams. I specifically take in students who are disadvantaged in a way. I mean, like those who may come from abroad, they don't have the required, prerequisites for registering for national exams in Tanzania. Like they don't have birth certificates, they don't have this and that. I register them in centers which are already in existence. I take some of them to the British Council at Dar es Salaam, do the exam. So Juma, that's a noun, and is a conjunction, it's a connecting kind of word. And I realized there was a lot of market and a lot of privileges that people who study the Cambridge curriculum, Edexcel, we're enjoying, but the majority of the people are kind of put aside because of the economic factor. It's like for the affluent, you know, aside the rich people. So there are conditions that are there. The way the curriculum is handled and all that is quite different from the way we handle our local curricula. So I saw a business opportunity there. What I do is I give them the opportunity to get the same education, okay, but at a very low cost. Each word has got a part that it plays.
Currently, the institution has a staff of 6 teachers inclusive of Moses and a student population of about 75 boys and girls.
But this is mainly because of the corona scare, you know, that caused our admissions for this, you know, this academic year to kind of go down. So there was a lot of discouragement on the part of, you know, some students.
This is just one of the challenges that Moses has faced running a business here in Tanzania.
The challenges are more psychological than, you know, there's that lack of freedom that you may have. Your visa can expire. Like for 2 days, you're actually not eating, you're uncomfortable. Supposing I meet an immigration officer, supposing this happens, you know, there is that discomfort. But I always try to counter that.
But despite this, Moses still insists that Arusha is an amazing place to set up shop.
Arusha is a cosmopolitan kind of, you know, city. It's an international kind of city. That's why this kind of work can be done, you know, quite well without any, you know, having any, you know, kind of any due pressure from any corner. We have very good working relations with the locals, with the offices that are concerned with education and so on.
So, with a successful business, a welcoming country and a suitable working environment, Moses doesn't regret his decision of quitting traditional employment.
I feel more comfortable because we are kind of independent. Nobody tells me when to go to the office or not. I wake up early in the morning. I can tell my students by 6:30 I'm in the class teaching them. I can organize night lessons.
And there you have it, from employee to employer, a testament of what one can achieve by simply daring abroad. For Chams Media, my name is Michael Zimanji.
And that's audacity of hope. Kudos to Alfred Maina for that effort away from his motherland. Time now for my magical Kenya, and this is a special segment in which I share my experience home much as I travel across the world, and also to showcase Kenya to those who may want to come there in Kenya. And today it's about my experience at the Sarova Lion Hill Game Lodge in Nakuru. Take a look.
My Magical Kenya, brought to you by Chams Adventures.
It is lunchtime at Sarova Lion Hill Game Lodge as walk-in and resident guests enjoy their weekend. With Kenyans embracing local tourism like never before, despite the COVID-19 pandemic.
These are my little family. So we wanted to take a bit of a commercial break. With the whole COVID situation, we've been indoors. We've been, trying to be safe. And before our sunlight and summer ends, we want at least to be able to enjoy it a bit.
The lodge is strategically located in Lake Nakuru National Park.
It's in a very scenic place. There's the lake, which gives the lodge a very, very stunning view, especially from the rooms. It is a bit hilly, but we also have so many bird species at Sarova Lion Hill. So just the way it is made between the trees, you know, the environment itself is so relaxing, calming, scenic. And when you get here, you just want to unwind. You just want to relax.
Time for feeding the birds now.
Time for feeding the birds will be led by John. John is our naturalist. There are very many bird species. When the birds actually come and you get to see more about how they behave. You get to see them feeding, you get to see them in their own environment, you get to see them basking in the sun, you get to hear them chirping, and you find for people who like doing documentaries, they concentrate on that. In the evening, we do a lot of storytelling. We set up a bonfire after dinner, and our guests can relax and sit around the fire. Yeah, we also have an in-house guitarist who is excellent. He takes requests from guests and he plays their numbers, and they relax, have their drinks, and they can hear more about what we have here. Sometimes we organize for cultural dancers, and guests love to know more about the Kenyan cultures, the Kenyan tribes.
The hospitality sector is still reeling from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, but Kenya has been hailed for its health protocols that have brought confidence in the sector.
We have taken the Ministry of Health guidelines very seriously. We have taken it upon ourselves to also make sure we enforce the same. We have made most of our frontline staff COVID ambassadors. So when we notice guests have walked in, they probably don't have a mask, we will ask you to put on your mask. In our restaurants, we serve people with masks. We have sanitization points all around, washing hands.
But is it looking up? Are things improving, especially for the domestic traveler?
There's a lot of hope, especially with the coming out of the new vaccine. Everybody is really talking about it, looking forward to it. And as a business, we are also prepared to, hit the road running come the next season.
Sarova Lion Hill Game Lodge's location affords panoramic views of Lake Nakuru, and many of the visitors here are attracted by game drives.
KWS is very supportive. They give us rangers anytime we ask, and our guests feel safe, and they're able to go and get these experiences.
The kids learn more also through travel. We get to describe the animals, you get to, like now they were the ones who are telling me the difference between the, what do you call that? Is it the antelope and the other one? Gazelle. And, yeah, the gazelle and the antelope. Tomorrow we'll go look for the giraffes. Oh, cool. So, and then they're the ones telling me all their attributes. This one's go in a herd and this one's go how, and being able to see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's family bonding too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I too took time off for a game drive. Quite encouraging to learn that Kenya's hospitality sector is picking up despite the COVID-19 pandemic. That's all we had time for today. Remember, you can watch this show again on our YouTube channel, that is Chams Media TV. Kindly subscribe to the channel if you've not done so. You'll find the show plus lots of inspiring, informative, and engaging features. Till we meet again next time, many thanks for watching, and bye-bye.